we're going to start gluing things together, but first we have to make absolutely sure that everything fits. Like, for example, here on this rib there are 4 tabs, and they have to fit into 4 holes in the sides. If they don't, we'll be in trouble. This fits quite well here. Here it's a little stiff, so what I do is I take a little stick with some sandpaper on it, and I lightly, that's the magic word, lightly sand a little bit away so that the rib will fit. Let's see how it fits now. Oh yes. This one here, this is the servo tray. It has to fit into slots here, and again this is a little stiff, so we lightly trim away until this fits in. That's it. Now it's so snug it holds the side. I can't even get it out again. That's very snug. Here you've got the slots on separate pieces. That one fits okay, and that one doesn't. So just a little there we go, that fits. So now we're going to fit together the sides. They are in 2 pieces and they are handed. That means that one of them, the right side, is just a tiny bit shorter than the other one. You can see this if you line up the slots for F3 for F6. This thing here, it fits into this slot. If you line up this slot, you can see that there's a tiny discrepancy. This is so that you get right hand thrust on the motor, but this also means that you have to be very careful when you glue them together. Fortunately, the pieces are not cut identically, so you really can't mess it up. So let's begin by gluing up these to F1 and F2 and F7 and F8. And I'm going to use wood glue. There we are. Not a lot is needed. Some people might want to use CA glue, but I like wood glue. Here we are. The plastic that came with the kit is underneath, and I just fit these together. Now it's a good idea to have one of these to wipe away any excess. What I then like to do is to put some packing tape over what I just glued down, because Now I'm going to hold this down with some pieces of steel. The packing tape now prevents the steel from sticking to the sides. There we go. This will take about 20 minutes. Now for the other one. Now we can begin by putting the rib F3 into its place. It doesn't matter which way it turns, it's not handed as they call it, and it fits quite snugly here into these slots. Now we have to have a square to see to it that it's square to the side, but there's one problem. Light ply like this tends to warp. There's absolutely nothing you can do about it. It always does that, but you just have to work around it. In this case, this corner here has lifted quite a lot actually, and you need to keep it down. So you could put some more bits of steel down on it, or like a friend of mine, he made these bags of sand. Dry, clean sand in a plastic bag wrapped with duct tape. This one is about 700 grams, 649.94. Here we have 864 grams, and we can just place these on top here. I've got two more, so now I have about 2,000 grams sitting down here, and this is down as it should be. And now the only thing I have to do is to make sure the rib is square to the side. Now we can proceed to rib F4, but it's not the same on the right and left hand side. So have a look at the instructions, and they show that this rib is like this. This is the right on the right hand side. So we carefully place this on the right hand side and fit it there. Now let's glue. While the ribs are gluing down onto the side, we can take F6 and F27 and join them together. According to the instructions, these two servo holes are supposed to be on the left hand side, like this, and so this fits on like that. So let's glue these together. While the glue is hardening, I'm going to press it down with a piece of steel and use pins, a couple of pins, to hold it in place so it doesn't move, because there's going to be a lot of glue. The next part is to glue all kinds of things onto the sides, and in order to do that, on the right hand side you have the ribs to help you align these and place them in the right place, but not so on the left. So I took a piece of scrap light ply, and now I can place this in the slots in the side like this, put a ruler up against it and draw a line. So now I have lines that will show me how far I can go with this thing when I glue it down. I can also use this piece of light ply to guide me. When I've glued the bit down, I just take these away. The next step is to glue down parts F14 and F17 here in front of the rib F3. F14 fits something like this, and F17 drops down here like this. Now it so happens that this part just stands a little bit proud of my table, so now I can use clamps like these to hold them down so they don't move, while I put these bags of sand on top of them to hold them down. The next parts to be fitted are these two, F16 and F19. F16 fits down here, and it's aligned along the bottom and it fits very well. F19 is the where the wing sits, and it is very evident that it does not sit down, so I have to adjust it a little bit with some sandpaper. The next step is to glue down F5 here and F6 here. Now we come to the first change I want to do to Tony's design. It's not that extensive. The only thing is that I don't like to hold down my tanks with rubber bands. This F5 rib is slotted for rubber bands, but I put down some Velcro. I just took it down through the slots for the rubber bands and then glued them with some scrap on the other side. This, I believe, will keep the tank in place much better than any rubber bands. So let's glue these down. Now I can glue this rib F18 to the back of F3, and it is supposed to be completely flush with F3. Now we're going to glue down all these parts inside the left hand side, but first it would be a nice idea to get rid of this packing tape. The last part on page 1 is from picture 10, and here we take part F31 and glue it down here. This is the place where you would have a servo if you don't want to have push rods inside. So it's a good idea to put it down. But as you can see, this part overhangs my table, so I can hardly put any weight on it. So what I'm going to do is glue it down with wood glue, and then use CA glue to hold it. Maybe a couple of clamps, just to be just to feel good about it. There we are. That's the clamp, and here we have the CA glue. It will hold this down while the wood glue is drying. So that's the first page finished.